That was great.
Get
That
your
was
license
great.
number, sir.
No more fingers?
Nah, that's okay. You already saw it.
And
Don't get
you're-
that light on my face. That's going to be considered battery.
Really?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'd say the best thing about America is you can do what you want to do within the limitations of law. Well, I should say that pertains to most, people in society. Best thing about America, free enterprise. Democracy, do what you will. And the worst thing about America is probably the same. Democracy and free will. Yeah, pretty much that. You're putting me on the spot, so.
You're familiar with Ray Bradbury?
I've heard of him, yes.
And if it wasn't dark, you'd be able to see there is a giant ravine right there that plummets down. Good spot for a murder.
I don't know a whole lot about Ray Bradbury, but I do know I grew up in the same neighborhood that he talks about in his book, I think it's Dandelion Wine. And that's Roosevelt Park, and it's just a marvelous place. It's a ravine.
This is Ray Bradbury Park in Waukegan, and he based one of his most famous stories here, Dandelion Wine.
I'm sure that he's still alive, but he hasn't been able to come because of illness. But he really, he supports this kind of thing. And Waukegan really made an impression in his life.
This is 11 South St. James, where Ray Bradbury was born in 1920, and he lived here with his family until 1933 when they moved to California.
I tried. His books are just very different, and I couldn't relate. But I do own a copy of some of. I own copies of some of his books. I really do, and I'll make an attempt again, especially after talking with you. Oh yes, I'm a Waukeganite, definitely.
Yes. Thank you.
The legend, of course, is that he climbed to the top of the water tower, put a rope around his neck, and jumped off and committed suicide, and got the insurance money to keep the theater in the family. Now, I have personally seen him, and I have personally heard him. I've also been called back to the theater a few times by the Waukegan police because there were lights still on, and we had left it hours before, locked up and all dark. So it's just part of the history of the building. Since we have restored the building, we have discovered two more. One is a young girl who just loves to untie shoes, and the other one is a lady who appears to our female guests in some of the lounges or in the ladies' rooms, and a dog. We have actually heard a dog barking in the theater on several occasions where the staff has actually checked the building to see if a dog had gotten in somehow. It was that clear, it was that vivid.
Do you think Ray Bradbury or Waukegan has anything to do with it?
I don't think he has anything to do with it, but it's a nice touch. We were so close to being a parking lot that they literally were going to demolish this building. We said, no, we'll sit inside it like those old 60s protest marches. That we were ready to sit inside this theater until they said, we're not going to tear it down. And they finally said, here's your money, do it. So, it's great.
That's great, you won.
You don't get that light on my face. That's going to be considered battery.
Really?
Yes, sir, it is.